This video is brought to you by Max Aroma. What's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. I have a bunch of different fragrances from the house of Dastan. It's a new company or a new brand that just hit the market, and I'm pretty excited to jump in and try these out for myself. Another cool detail is Richard Herpin is the perfumer. He was the perfumer for Oud Wood, which is a legendary scent. Really excited to give these fragrances a try. I'm gonna give you my honest thoughts. I wanna point you in the right direction if you are looking at buying one of these. If none of them suit my fancy, I'm not gonna recommend any of them. All right, let's give it a go. Let's check out Light Breeze here first. We're gonna do first impressions and then I'm gonna come back and talk about my full thoughts. Now the boxes are really high quality. They flip up and they have this like really nice looking bottle here. When I was shooting some of the B-roll, I really liked how the light, bounced around in the bottle. I thought it was really cool. They take inspiration from the pillars outside of the Persian Empire's palaces or their walkways, which is a really great detail. They have a nice high quality luxury feel to them, but let's give them a go here. Very nice atomizers. Like, do you hear that? That is some pressure. So very bright in the air, very off the first impressions, very bright, citrusy, fresh, and a little bit of it's called alpha ionone, and it comes across as a violet leaf. It's a very potent material. This is actually really nice. I'm actually picking up a lot. It smells a lot like a high quality version of Mont Blanc Legend or Percival, Parfums Marley Percival. Very high quality though. It's very amber heavy. I really enjoy this. Musky, fresh, a ton of a sharp, citrusy, realistic bergamot character. It almost smells like an orange. Super nice. This is very musky, very fresh, very versatile. This is like a spring day, summer day, light. Light breeze really does the name very good here. This is kind of very similar to what you're gonna find with the name. I'm gonna look up the notes. We're off to a good start. This is a great fragrance. I think that this is like right up there with like Percival, or Mont Blanc Legend, that kind of thing. All right, amberwood is the main force here, and I totally picked that up. It's very spicy with pink pepper. Lavender is heavy in here. Mandarin, that is the citrus that I'm really picking up here. There's also bergamot and a plethora of other stuff. It really looks like a Percival note breakdown. Tonka bean, sandalwood, cardamom, those kinds of things. Surprisingly, there's a rose in here. I'm not picking up a rose, a bouquet of roses, but it's definitely really, really nice in here. A nice floral touch. So far, this is really good. Off to a really good start here. It's super versatile, musky, fresh, easy to wear in like a springtime, summer occasion, and smells like very musky douchebaggery, but the high-end douchebag. I'm gonna save my ratings for the end of the video, towards the end. All right, one that I really want to try out is You, ? I actually remember that when this one was announced, it came up on Fragrantica and it was on their, like news articles, and it was really intriguing. The whole You name was actually quite, fascinating, I thought. All right, so this is a blue hue, and this is really, really nice. The bottles are just incredible. They look absolutely really great. Very high end, very high quality. All right, fingers crossed. Once again, these atomizers are like a bazooka. Okay, so in the air, very, it almost smells like a little bit of a powdery character, like a irisy kind of thing. Yeah, it's coming across as like a creamy coconut iris kind of thing, almost kind of in the same ballpark as like a Zanzibar kind of thing. I really need to look at the notes before I even talk about this one. Yeah, there's a few notes in here that I don't know, honestly. Sandalwood, pear, white chocolate, milk, coriander, and fig with ylang-ylang and musk, freesia, wild note breakdown, and jasmine too. Now, this is not my favorite at all. It's coming across so the chocolate vibe is very nice. It's very nice. It's a very confusing fragrance for me. I don't know really when I would wear this. I could see this would working really well on a lady. That creaminess, lactate kind of smell in here is present. It has this like creamy, milky kind of character in here. White floral jasmine quality is pushing off here as well. This is like a creamy sorbet mixed with sandalwood milk. Really not sure how I feel about this one, but it's smooth. Take with that what you will. It comes across a lot like a pineapple-less version of Lattafa's Honor and Glory. That kind of gourmand, chocolatey, vanillic, milky kind of accord in here, almost like creme brulee with the creaminess, but white floral through and through. Fig is really kind of jumping off here as well. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Very interesting. This one is one I'm gonna need to spend some time with to kind of fully understand, but right now it's quite confusing. I think it's the milk vibe in here. I'm not a huge fan of milk in my fragrances. More feminine leaning than anything, I would say, but definitely a confident guy could definitely wear this, no problem. Yeah, I'm gonna have to spend some time with you. Did it. Game of Joy. This one had me intrigued with that watermelon accord. If anything, I think that this one is going to be the one that leans a lot more feminine than anything, because I did look at the note breakdown on this one. It's tropical, fruity through and through. I mean, just look at this. Mango, passion fruit, watermelon, and pear. You also have some smokiness coming from elamine and incense, and then some sandalwood, you know, some nice things to kind of richen up that base, and labdanum too. And I'm a sucker for mango. Okay, so yeah, definitely getting a blast of fruity sweetness in here. The mango is coming across a bit tart, and then there's like a sweet, like passion fruit going on. The watermelon is also really nice. It's giving a kind of an aquatic wateriness that I'm like really enjoying right now. Definitely a lot of spice too coming off. It almost has that rind of the watermelon to give it kind of a greenness. I'm getting so much of kind of a re-inspired version of Tom Ford's Bitter Peach, with a much more of a fruity emphasis here. There is that cardamom spiciness that Bitter Peach kind of, you know, is inspired by. And then the sandalwood, the nice musky, woody dry down of Bitter Peach is excellent as well. But there's a lot more fruitiness going on in this one that it's definitely a departure. It's not a clone. I don't think it is. If it is, I don't have Bitter Peach to kind of, you know, compare side to side, but they're two different fragrances just from my recollection of Bitter Peach. This is really nice. Fruity sweet though, through and through. I think that this one is a lot more unisex, and guys could rock this one a lot more than You. I think You has a little bit more of a feminine leaning vibe with that one. This one could be a little bit feminine if you just have to like fruity sweetness, tropical muskiness, and just there's a lot more spices in here going on than just fruitiness. So you're definitely going to get a spicy fragrance here with some fruit, and I have a feeling it's going to dry down mostly musky, spicy, and woody. But in the air right now, it smells fantastic. I think it's going to be one of the more loves than dislikes in my eyes. I think I'm going to be wearing it a whole lot is what I'm trying to say. Now they did send 2 other little samples too. I think these are 10 mil size. So this is their 10 mil size. So if you wanted to order a 10 mil size, they're not actually that bad looking. They actually have a really nice feel to them. Super high quality, and the caps really stick on there. Really nicely. To the point where I can't get them off. 5 Senses. I think that this is their vanilla fragrance. It smells very vanilla, benzoin, spicy fresh, a little creamy. Honestly, this one should have the milk accord in it. I don't know if it has milk, but we're gonna find out here shortly. But yeah, so far, it's it almost smells like rich labdanum with a vanilla base around it. Tonka bean is present, and a heavy dose of woods, like a lot of woods. Vanilla, benzoin, tonka bean, and apricot make up a little bit of the upper echelons of the whole fragrance. And then you got a lot more stuff going on in here. You got tobacco, pink pepper, some oud, some Gaiac wood. They're both kind of the same, but there's differences. Then you have lime on the other side, and patchouli, cardamom, and a lot going on here. There's just a lot going on, but it's mostly a vanilla, benzoin, and tonka bean fragrance. Tobacco is actually really jumping off. Now that I'm looking at the note breakdown and smelling it, I'm definitely picking up a lot of tobacco. This is very, very nice. This kind of leans a little bit more into the fall and the winter time. So if you're going to pick this one up, I would say towards the end of the year would probably suit you best. But if you're in a colder climate and you can rock vanilla fragrances anytime, anywhere, I would say that, yeah, this is a really interesting tobacco vanilla fragrance with the really interesting peach, like not peach, apricot accord in here that gives it kind of a peachy apricot kind of smell. It's not overdone whatsoever. It doesn't come across like a fruity salad, but definitely an interesting kind of take here. This is very rich. This is very, like thick. And this one also, I think, is going to have to grow on me. It is not like one of my favorite vanillas jumping off here right now, but it's definitely an interesting fragrance. But once again, you need like the cooler weather, I think, to rock this one and kind of drift around and, linger around in the air. I think that's where this one is going to shine tremendously, is when you're in that kind of environment. And the last one is Love Flame. Once again, these little 10 ml size bottles are actually really, really cool. I really like the whole, custom design that they have. Custom brands are always really cool. We'll spray it on here. Right off the bat, it's like Dior Homme Intense. Whoa. Okay, so this is incredible. Okay, Love Flame is my favorite. Out of all of these, Love Flame is by far the best. This is their kind of, I think, inspired by of Dior Homme Intense. It's got like a rich iris in here, almost an orrisy, earthy kind of smell in here. Cedarwood, sandalwood, a heavy amount of patchouli actually, and just this freshness, like lavender base. Dior Homme Intense has this like plethora of linalool, lirol acetate, and a heavy emphasis on that lavender. But this one almost has this like pencil shavings wow, this is really good. So this one is my favorite. I haven't tried it yet, like actual, giving it a full wear, but I have to say that this one is my favorite. It takes everything that I love about Dior Homme Intense, but it gives it also this like warm, musky richness, almost incensey and frankincense kind of style. It honestly smells like if you took Dior Homme Intense and made it in like the Middle East with their rich spices, their just love for exotic spices, that kind of thing. I don't know, Dior Homme Intense doesn't scream off as Middle Eastern. It screams much more French perfumery, but this is like if it was done in a Middle Eastern kind of way. And the note breakdown is so Dior Homme Intense, it's not even funny. Chocolate, sandalwood, you have iris, patchouli, lavender. Everything in here screams Dior Homme Intense. Dior Homme Intense doesn't even have the chocolate accord listed, but they went out of their way to really emphasize that chocolate accord, which is really stunning here. They also have some citrus in here as well, and cashmere. I have a GCMS analysis of Dior Homme Intense. It's a really interesting fragrance to actually craft up and make. Yeah, this is really nice, and I'm all here for it. Love Flame is the best from the house of Dastan. All right, I'm gonna give these a wear and get back to you with my full thoughts in a minute. All right, I got to wear some of the House of Dastan fragrances, and I really love a lot of them. One of them doesn't really fit my fancy, and it's this one, I'll talk about this one first. We'll get the bad out of the way first. Now, why don't I like this one? It's definitely a long-lasting fragrance. You're definitely gonna get some good long-lasting, performance with this one. It's just so interesting for me. And I think honestly it's the jasmine and the like lactate milk kind of thing in here gives it kind of this creamy white floral thing that I don't really jive with. Some of the similarities that I get with that jasmine kind of creamy vanilla sweetness is Gucci Guilty's Elixir, and I really don't find that DNA tremendously great because it has this like jasmine, sweet vanilla weirdness. I don't know. It's just not for me. This one has an interesting thing going on with fig and coriander. It gives it kind of this earthy tone mixing in with that like milky lactate. But it dries down pretty woody, and the sandalwood in here it's a sandalwood heavy fragrance. It's mostly sandalwood. The fruitiness coming from pear is definitely here. It smells like a juicy pear fruit when you first spray it on, and that lasts for a good amount of time, like, 2 to 3 hours. And then after that, the fruitiness kind of lingers around and then just dies off, and it just becomes really like it mostly transitions into a nice sandalwood fig kind of thing going on. A lot of white floral coming from jasmine. I'm a big sucker for white floral when it comes from orange blossom. That is my kind of forte when it comes to white florals. Jasmine is a bit hard for me to wear personally. But yeah, when I was wearing it, I definitely thought I would love this on a lady. It definitely lingers around the air. When you catch whiffs of it, it's really nice. I would just find that this would be very attractive on a lady. If I was dating a girl that would wear this, yes please. Total overall score for it, it's not a fragrance for me. I could definitely appreciate it though. I would say like it's a 6.5 out of 10. Let's talk about my favorite, Love Flame. I did my first impressions and I immediately thought that it was Dior Homme Intense, and it totally is. It's so beautiful though. It's like, this is the, if you are going to pick up a fragrance from the house of Dastan, pick up Love Flame. If you like powdery iris with this like Dior Homme Intense kind of a vibe here. This one lasts it's a lot better performance I found than Dior Homme Intense, because it just had a lot of staying power. Now it definitely did wear off, and it was kind of like lingering around at like the 8 to 10 hour range. It wasn't like lasting into the eternity. It's not a beast mode is what I'm trying to say, but it's definitely a super nice fragrance for a date, for going out, that kind of thing. You kind of have to like creamy powdery iris though, with a nice chocolatey vibe here. This is fantastic stuff. I don't want to put it at a 10 out of 10 because it is a sponsored video. That seems a little sus, but I'll put it at like a 9.5 because I don't want to give it a 10 because that seems biased. And you guys could call me out as a shill in the comments down below. Feel free to. I would love to hear your thoughts. All right, so you and Love Flame are both the best and the worst. So Love Flame is the best. I think go with Love Flame. That's my #1 recommendation. And then it's gonna work for some people, but I would say sample it first. Let's talk about the other ones. Game of Joy. This one was such a joy to wear. It's mainly a fruity fragrance, and the thoughts that I had about it when I did my first impressions was it's very similar to Bitter Peach from Tom Ford, and I kind of stand by that too. I mean, it's definitely not a peachy fragrance. It's not a peach fragrance. It's a lot more watermelon forward, and it's almost like this watermelon mango mixed tropical fusion of power and loveliness, mixing in with the spicy character of Bitter Peach. It's so good. This is really good. This is the best fruity fragrance that I've smelled in a very, very long time. And that is so chilling, I don't even know what chilling is anymore. The mango, the passion fruit, and the watermelon just give off this stunning combo that is just so pleasant and so immaculate. I think that this is like a solid 8 out of 10. If you're looking for a nice watermelon fragrance, juicy watermelon fragrance with a bit of a spiciness going on in here, and a nice dry down to like woods, fruitiness, creaminess, give it a shot. This is so excellent. Give these a sample before you go and blind buy. Don't listen to a random fragrance reviewer online. That's my best recommendation. This is fantastic stuff. I'm gonna be wearing this a lot in the summertime because this is just stunning perfumery at its finest. All right, 5 Senses. I was a little taken back by this one too. This one really didn't fit my fancy all that much. Probably because when I was wearing it was like 80 degrees, and that's just a wrong time to wear this. This is a vanilla fall time fragrance, and I was wearing it in the, the briskness of spring/summer, and it just didn't work for me. A little bit thick, a little bit cloying, a little bit of a sprayer's regret, but I was smelling fantastic when I was stepping into like air conditioning areas. It was really nice. It's definitely a heavy tobacco fragrance, a vanilla tobacco with a fruity quality in here. I get a lot of similarities to Tobacco Vanille, but with a mix of something, and I don't know exactly what. So you have like the naturalist feeling of tobacco vanille with that, the tobacco and the vanilla, but then you have this like fruitiness and this DNA that I can't really recognize, but it's so excellent, so well done. I'm going to be wearing this one in the fall time really much because it's so nice. I was just a little disappointed when I was wearing it because I was just wearing it in the wrong season when it was hot as hell. If I was wearing it in the fall, I would say that's probably like a 7 out of 10. Editing Nate here, I got to trying this one out next to some baby cat clones, and there's actually some similarities. I'm not gonna say it's a 1-to-1 to a baby cat. I feel like it's a mix between baby cat and another kind of vanilla fragrance. I'm not really sure yet. I'm gonna have to give it some more wear. Let's talk about the last one, Light Breeze. This is probably the best versatile fragrance that you can pick up if you wanted to pick up something safe from the House of Dastan. I would say to go with this one. This one is super ultra safe. It smells like Parfums de Marly Percival with a nicher quality to it, even though Parfums de Marly is a bit of a niche house, obviously. This one just has a little bit more of a unique smoothness behind it that just smells so stunning. It's got a fruity freshness at the top. When you first spray it on, you're like overtaken with like this amount of freshness. Then it quickly dries off into this like amber wood, musky, woody kind of tone with violet leaf, that kind of thing. It smells so good. This is the most versatile fragrance that you can pick up and not worry about if you're gonna like it or not. I shouldn't say that because perfume is so subjective. This one is very easy to like is what I'm trying to say. Very versatile, easy. This is like a blue fragrance that's gonna fall in the same kind of category as Mont Blanc Legend, Dylan Blue, even Bleu de Chanel Sauvage, that kind of thing. It doesn't smell like that, but it smells a lot more like Parfums de Marly Percival than anything. But you're gonna wear it in the same occasions that you would wear Bleu de Chanel, Sauvage, that kind of thing. It's so high end, so classy. I did get a compliment actually too from it, which was really nice. So there's that. But my overall thoughts for the House of Dastan is there's some really exceptional ones coming from Game of Joy and Love Flame. Those two are magnificent. Overall, all of the bottles just scream elegance, class, and really, really nice presentation. I even love their little decants in the 10 ml size. This is a really good line, exceptional offers here. Have you guys tried the House of Dastan, or are you planning on trying it? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching the channel, everyone. We'll see you next time.